Okay. Years of Carnatic training has a lot of chest voice, and there's a strain while I go into the higher notes in the Carnatic music. But other genres of music, I don't have a problem with that. But I would like you to see that whether you are using a false voice, if you're using a falsetto, then yes, it will not hurt, but that's not the right thing to do. Because a little bit of truth is good than a lot of lies, I think. A falsetto that takes you up is not very great, according to me, especially when you're singing classical music. Why? Because you'll see the knots. There will be a transition point, either in Shuddha Re, higher Shuddha Re, or between Sa and Re, Ni, Sa, Re, somewhere the transition point will come. And every time that you'll have to take a slide, which is not a crooked movement, which does not hide the knots, which does not conceal the knots, which actually needs a smooth transition from one note to the other one, then the transition will show. Because if you're singing with one voice, let's say, but if you have a knot, it'll show, so the texture will change. So, you hear the transition because you're going into a false voice. Do not go into a false voice. Stick to your own voice, which is the deep voice. So any source which is higher than the collarbone. So the collarbone is kind of your benchmark. The source of your voice should come from underneath the collarbone. So how much ever high you go, the vibrations should always be here. So if you want to withdraw the presence and use a false voice for higher notes, then you will not be able to sing all kinds of harkats in the higher register, which means you will not be able to do a bhari, gamak, tan, which means your harkats will have lesser clarity and lesser presence. So, this presence will be lacking because this will happen. So, this is when you're singing with a lot of ease. So there's no mental processing happening here. It's a very smooth and spontaneous voice. There are no transitions. There's no, shift from chest to a head voice. There's only one voice, and that is the original voice. No false voice, only truth.